Hey everyone, this is the first video covering 2018 growing season. Learned a lot from last year. One of the biggest things I learned, especially with seedlings, is that they're very susceptible to mold and mildew, killing them off at the base of the stem as it contacts the soil. The mildew will eat at the stem right where the soil line is and eat it away, and then your seedling will fall over and die. So that's what happened to a lot of my seedlings last year. It didn't happen this year because I replaced the cocoa coir with homemade compost, which has soil life in it. So it has a lot of soil life to compete with the mold and mildew and make it harder for the mold and mildew to flourish in the soil. I think is the biggest improvement that I've made. It might take a few more seasons to quantify it, but pretty sure that that's why I haven't had one plant fall over or one sign of mildew yet on any of my seedlings. Also, I keep them in sunlight, direct sunlight, so that might also help. Right now it's mid-November and nights are about 58 degrees. So for seedlings, that's on a little on the cold side. So these here all go inside my garage, and I put them under I put them on top of a heat mat at night, and I just barely brought them out right now. And it's about 9 o'clock a.m. right now. So the sun's barely peeking out past this tree here. This tree shades everything. So from here, looking at the tray, all the way here, there's a possibility for sun for these seedlings, so they get plenty of sun. I actually put them under this partial sun here halfway through the day so that they don't burn because they're still really young. These were all started 11/11, and I'm growing some Bhutlah crossed with bubblegum. So Bhutlah BBG7, Scotch brain, Aleppo pepper, and that's Aleppo, and then Apocalypse scorpion comprises all of those. These I got gifted this from my wife's mom, so thank you for that. These are the pequin chilies. So this one I topped. You can see all the growth there. These two I topped, all pequin, topped. And topped as well. So they want to flower like really bad, and they're flowering now. So see if I can focus the camera right there. I don't know if you can see that, but it is flowering. I thought I'd just keep them and grow them. So these are all started 11/11. Again, from last year to this year, the biggest improvement I see is to use more life in your soil mix. So compost, preferably homemade or locally obtained compost. And then also make sure that your soil mix isn't as heavy. Last year it was heavier because I tried to save money by using some of the clay in my clay soil, and it was just too heavy. Didn't work out too well, so I put none of that in this because the clay does have a lot of minerals. So I was thinking, yeah, give us some minerals for free. It didn't work too well. So I took that out and added in its place vermiculite and perlite, which have no nutritional value. The compost has value, but I'm fertilizing it anyway, so it's not a big deal. These aren't being fertilized yet. I'll show you some that I am fertilizing upstairs in a window, south-facing. They get about 4 hours to 5 hours of direct sun a day, and then they're also under a lamp from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So 12 hours under a light, and then in the middle of the day, they get that 4 hours of direct sun, which is perfect. They're growing pretty well. These are along with my winter greens. These here, I'm not really potting up yet. More Apocalypse scorpion that sprouted, but not potted yet. And there's a few more Scotch brain chilies there, and then BBG7. So Bhutlah crossed with chocolate Bhutlah crossed with BBG7. I think it's actually red Bhutlah crossed with BBG7. And this is a chocolate variety I got from Refining Fire Chilies. along with all the ones that I mentioned here, refining fire chilies. This is from last year. This is one of my fish peppers. I'll show you upstairs. This is what they look like at maturity. So you can see the speckling of the leaves, the white, real bushy. Leaves aren't too large. As you can see, you can trim the larger leaves and keep them small if you want to do a bonsai type. Very, very beautiful bonsai chili. Chilies mature red. And then immature chilies around this long or dark and light green stripes going down long ways. So really, really pretty chili. Some other stuff that I have growing right now are some Anaheim chilies. It's just chilies all over the plant on the Anaheim. Got from Summer Winds Nursery here in Chandler. So it's Anaheim. The fish pepper that I'm going to use for my actual bonsai, I'll show you right now. Give me a second. And this one growing here, I'm going to use for my bonsai. If you check the stem, you can even see it. It's super bushy. That's it there. Leaves are fairly small enough for a bonsai. There's no fruit on this yet, but I see some flowers developing fruit, so my next video will show that. So that's going to be my bonsai there. Again, a fish pepper, heirloom pepper. So let me take you upstairs and show you the stuff that I started end of August all the way to mid-October. All right, so this is the peppers that I started a lot earlier. Last year, again, I started around December. Mildew killed off a lot of my seedlings, so I planted some new ones around maybe mid-January, and those kept. Planted them outside, and they didn't really get to flower in time before June hit, and the sun stopped all pepper production, so I didn't get that first season of peppers. And then with fertilizing not mistakes, but under fertilizing, I got a real small second season, which I'll show you outside next. But right now they look perfect. The peppers look really good. I'm fertilizing with fish emulsion, iron and zinc, so they're doing really well. So this one here, these here that you see, what my mentality is I started them in, say, September beginning through mid-October. Some of them already flowered, and I topped those to get them to bush out a lot more. So if I have one stem flowering, that's 5 or 6 flowers. But if I get to bush out and have 7 stems, and they're all flowering, all 7, then I have 7 times that many flowers and that potential for fruit. So that's what I'm topping. So my mentality is get them to flower, top them, and get them to grow, top them again, and then right when they're flowering that third time will be time-wise around March when I take them outside. So I want them to be flowering right when I take them outside, so they'll have March, April, May to fruit. So 3 months to fruit for that first harvest, and then the summer will kick in. They'll slow down production, and then the second season will come in around mid-September. They'll start flowering again when it starts to cool off, and then I'll get fruit all the way through December. So right now I'm getting fruit for the second harvest through December. I'll show you that again, but I missed that first season, the first harvest season. So this will hopefully bypass all that. So a lot of this stuff I started late September. Majority of it is in October. Like this is October 16th. MA Vortex. I'm growing that. Brazilian Starfish started 10.6. Sugar Rush Peach started 10.3. CGN 2500 topped. Started 9.31. What else am I growing here? More fish peppers here. Here's another fish pepper that I topped. You can see right there. the top. And this one was started 9:30. Growing Fatalii started 10:4, and this is mid-November right now. Almost smack dab mid-November. Big Carmel Mama from Fatalii Seeds overseas started 10/16. Big Carmel Mama there. Got some BTR Reaper Scorpions here and here. Started 10/18. So a little under a month ago. Ahi Mango, 10/16 for these. I got Cabaca Roxa, ROXA. I got this from Fatalii Seeds as well. This was started 10/4. And it's already topped as well. So there's the top right there. Little stub that's missing the top part. What else am I growing here? I think that's about it. I'm growing some Datil chilies, which are the larger ones, and then that smaller one there is a yellow Reaper. It's the only yellow Reaper that sprouted from refining fire chilies. I put like 5 or 6 seeds in there, and that's the only one that sprouted. All the Datil sprouted. So I'll be crossing that yellow Reaper with quite a few things I'm thinking this year. I got some crosses outside I'll show you as well. So here they get this light 12 hours a day, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Supplementary light. The main light source is going to be coming into play here in the next 30 minutes or so. You already see some light on some of these peppers, like that one, from the natural sun. So once it clears that tree, once that sun's right there, all the way to about there, these peppers get sun, direct sun. And they seem to be doing fine. They're a little scraggly, but it's the ones that grow really tall, like the 5-foot tall chilies, like this Sugar Rush Peach, M8 Vortex. Or real tall chilies. The Cabaca, I don't think it's supposed to be a tall one, but it's getting the most sun because it's right by the window. So I don't think sun's an issue with this one, but it's growing real tall. The inner node spacing isn't too bad. Looks like it was getting a lot less sun here, and now it's getting a lot more sun there. So it'll probably tighten up now, but I topped it anyway, so it'll branch out. It's not gonna grow up anymore, at least for now. Mango Vortex. So I got a lot of M8 Vortex. I really wanted to grow those last year, and again, mildew got them. Not this year. This year these are established peppers, so doing very, very well. Pretty much the same soil mix. I got these trays, super heavy duty trays off Amazon.com. Real strong. So if you want to get a bottom water, you're going to need some of these trays. And my bottom watering method is just I cut slits with scissors and these cups. And basically what the roots do is they go down to the slits, penetrate the slits, they dry off, die out, and then up about an inch up within the cup, the roots branch out like a tree branch basically. And from one root you get 3 or 4 just from the air pruning. That's what the method is you prune the roots with air, dry them out, prune them, and then back within the root they branch out, and then your roots get bushier and bushier and bushier. So a lot of times, like, you have a lot of nutrients in your soil, but the roots only occupy 5% of the soil. So people say, well, there's not enough nutrients in my soil left, but there is. Your roots just aren't in that part of the soil. So when you branch out the roots, your roots fill up more of the soil space and come in contact with a lot more of the soil in there and do better. I am also hitting these with hydroponic nutrients. So some of the peppers that weren't doing so well, like this one, I started hitting it with hydroponic nutrients about a week ago, and this thing was tiny and didn't have any of the white. And now you can see it's just a lot more white. It's just looking a lot better. from hitting it with the nutrients. What I'm using is based off of Kang Star's videos. He does a double cut method you can look at. Just look up Kang, K-H-A-N-G, double cut method for fertilizing his peppers with hydroponic nutrients. Ever since I've been doing that, they've all been growing like crazy, like the leaves. Like from last year, it's the night and day difference using the nutrients. The leaves are, if you look at my videos from last year, the leaves are 10 times bigger. They're way bigger than last year's leaves. And these are only a month and a half old, some of them, and they're already flowering from popping out of the soil a month and a half ago. So if I learned anything from last year, once they developed their first set of true leaves, started hitting them with, half a teaspoon per gallon. If you want to, just following the instructions on General Hydroponics, Flora series, which is what I'm using, General Hydroponics. Just following the recommendations for seedlings. Once they develop their first set of true leaves, which basically this is the leaves that were in the seed that were comprised of the seed. So that's not the true leaf. So the first true leaf is really this one here. So once you get your first set of these coming out, start hitting it with nutrients, and they blow up in growth. So we even had peppers, again, not doing anything for a while. This one should be as tall as this one, but it wasn't because of the nutrients. So that's the difference with no nutrients and nutrients. Yeah, so if I learn anything, it's use nutrients, have a lighter soil, so sand, and specifically lava sand, which is a lighter weight than regular sand, and it's also more coarse, and allows more air penetration than a normal, like a play sand that you would get from Home Depot. So you can get lava sand from your garden centers. $7 a bag. It's really, really cheap, and it'll go a long way. So lava sand, perlite or vermiculite, compost, worm castings, mix it all up, and you'll have a very, very, very successful season. A lot of my watering is done. Half my watering is done with purified water, and the other half is done with tap water. I do notice with the hydroponic nutrients, using pH down, because my pH comes in at like a 7.8 or so. Using pH down, I use a lot less with purified water and a lot more with tap water. So if you're using tap water at first and you switch to purified water, be careful to use a lot less at first and then adjust accordingly, because for some reason purified water takes a lot less pH down to lower the pH than tap water does. Tap water requires a lot more. So just keep that in mind with pH down. You want to adjust your pH to be about a 5.9 to a 6.5 on the pH scale, and then you add your nutrients, mix it all up, and then you apply it to your plants. Whether you use a double cut method or whether you just try to air prune your roots and just apply it to the cup. One thing I will do with these before I plant them outside is I'm going to drench them pretty well with a compost tea to bring that life back into the soil, because when you use hydroponic nutrients, you kill the life in the soil slowly. And that life in the soil, I believe, is what stopped the mold and mildew from forming. So you slowly kill the life in the soil. So I'm going to add that life back before I plant these out. So again, I'm going to foliar feed these through the soil before I plant them out. So let me show you outside the remnants of last year's season. Give me a sec. Okay, so we're back to the first part of the yard. I showed you the fish pepper, showed you the Anaheim chili. Did not show you the lemon drop chilies. These are lemon drop. And this is what they look like. There is a yellow chili. It's pretty hot. Hot enough for sure for any sauce that you want to make. These grow about 2 feet tall from what I'm seeing. 2.5 feet tall. I have a big one out back I'm going to show you right now. I have these growing in very, very little soil. So I hit them up with a lot of fertilizer. And this soil is about 2 years old. And what I'm finding out is the older the soil, the better. And I do aerate my soil or my water hose water before I apply it for the most part. Sometimes I just use it straight from the hose, but for the most part I aerate it first to get the chlorine out, which kills the life of the soil. Because you want life in the soil. I'm also foliar feeding this, along with all the trees and pots for when we move into the house that we buy. We're ready now. I'll have all kind of fruit trees ready to go. Literally ready to go. So that's the lemon drop there. I'll show you another lemon drop on the way to the big bed on the side. Give me a sec. All right, here's the other lemon drop here. This one is about 3 feet, close to 3 feet tall. The peppers in the back are way more mature. Some of them are all the way yellow mature. These are still on the green side, but they're yellowing up a little. So this is the lemon drop here. It's been in the ground forever. Nice sized chilies as well, so real nice. So here's the other bed. This is about 1.5 feet tall. I don't know what chili this is. I thought it was Bohemian goat, but there's a fruit on it. There's a fruit on it. There's about 5 or 6 of them on this plant alone. This is an ahi variety, I believe, here in the back, getting very little sun, real scraggly, but still has a lot of fruits. This is my BTR Reaper Scorpion. This is a cross with a smaller, like a baby bird's eye chili out back that I crossed the seed for there. This is a cross here with a Scotch Bonnet. Again, on my BTR Reaper female plant that accepted the pollen from the male. This is a pod ripening here, ripening red. I don't know if you can see the red coming in, but this plant's about 4 feet tall altogether, so pretty big. I built this bed myself less than a year ago, mostly homemade compost. This is my Chula Hackley Negro that blew over in the wind. Sweet basil, another Chula Hackley Negro pepper that blew over in the wind. And this is what I believe is a Scotch Bonnet, but the peppers are real small. This one is also ripening red. I don't know if you can see that, but that one's also ripening there to a red color. There's a lot of peppers on this plant. So that's the second season I was talking about. My BTR has a good amount of peppers too, so there's another one there. BTR has about, I don't know, maybe 12 on it right now. A whole bunch more. If I can get them to ripen before maybe mid-December, hopefully, before the frost kills them. So these are all flowering basil, lemon basil, tomato that never did anything there. The leaves look bad. They look real curly. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. Let me know. So all the videos I see, this is my first year trying to grow tomatoes, so all the videos I see, the leaves are flatter, but this is easily waist height. Oh, and the BTR actually has a weird looking pod. I might save seeds from this and have a variant that looks pretty cool. So that one's ripening up. But that's my other side. So this a lot of these I grew in really bad compost at first and they were dying, so I moved them to my own homemade compost. The bad compost was local, but it just wasn't finished. It was still light brown, not even close to being finished, and I didn't know better, and I used it, and it killed off a lot of my plants. But my own homemade compost, here, everything's doing really, really well. I put another log up, so it's 2 logs high now. So I got room for more compost additions to support my next summer season, which I'll start with the leaves that are falling here in the fall from all the oleander bushes in the back. So that's my first video. Organic life in the soil to compete with the mold and mildew along with natural sunlight. Now I'm not going to have to go out and take these plants out, 30 minutes a day, hour a day, 3 hours a day, more and more time to get them used to the sun, because you're already going to be used to the sun. Feeding with hydroponic nutrients, getting them to top first and then flower after the top around March when you're going to take them outside. That way you get you get that first season, because in Arizona it's very unforgiving with the sun. So it's not like other states where your peppers fruit all year long, or I'm sorry, all summer long. In the middle of summer here, everything stops production. So you get that first half of spring, summer, and the second half of summer, fall to actually fruit. So getting them to top and flower right before March when you bring them outside, or mid-Feb when you bring them outside, that's perfect timing to have a really good first crop right before June and July hits. That's it for now. Any questions, comments, shoot me a message. Otherwise, thanks a lot.